Good afternoon, and welcome to Metro East Community Media as part of the Veterans History Project on the 29th of April, 2016. And today we are speaking to Mr. Bill Yamamoto of Gresham, Oregon. And Bill, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And so, you were a veteran of the Army.
Right.
And you were in the Korean conflict, but what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Airplane mechanic.
So you had that set in your mind in the first place when you were in high school?
When I was about 10 years old.
Ah. And where did you grow up at?
Saratoga, California.
That's down south towards the LA area?
That's 50 miles south of San Francisco.
Okay. Down the nether regions. So you, I understand, from what I understand, you graduated what, in 46?
High school in 46.
So you had already seen the war. You weren't part of the internment camp
Yes, I was.
in California, or did they move you to another state?
Well, first in California, then moved to Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an adjustment.
Oh, yeah. 29 degrees below zero.
Yeah. So they had you down in the southern part of Wyoming.
Well, we live pretty close to Yellowstone National Park.
Okay. So you were up in that. I understand approximately where those camps were, but you know, you hear about them, but you never see them.
Yeah.
Because now there's nothing left of them anymore. And I understand you tried to volunteer to join the Navy.
Yeah, back in 48, I was going to join the Navy and be an aviation machinist mate, but they said, you have bad eyes and flat foot, so I got rejected.
And you just walked in the recruiter's office and started that whole process, and
Yeah.
they started rejecting you. But then what happened?
So then I worked in the nursery for about 2 years. In 1950, I got drafted in the Army.
Isn't that amazing how that ends up? You know, one government agency says no, and the other government agency says, well, we'll take you.
We had guys, one eye missing, couldn't hear, and they took them in the Army.
So where'd you do your basic training there?
Camp Roberts, 6 weeks training.
And what state was that in?
California.
Oh, okay. And only 6 weeks.
6 weeks. But if you're going to be infantryman, you'll be 16 weeks training.
Oh, training after the basic training portion's over.
Well, see, 6 weeks, after 6 weeks, then you go to school if you're selected.
All right. So I would imagine even back then there was quite of an adjustment, though.
Oh, yeah. Because when I took a train from LA to Oklahoma, we stopped in El Paso, Texas for refill the train. And so I want to go to the bathroom. It says white or colored. So I said, what should I do? Shall I go to the colored bathroom or white bathroom? So I went to the white. If they kick me out, I said, I guess I'm in the wrong place.
Now, did they kick you out or?
No.
Nah. I would imagine back then that would be kind of confusing. But.
Yeah.
So you went to basic training at Camp Roberts, and then where did they send you?
Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And we had, as a artillery training center. So they assigned me to a helicopter airplane mechanic for 3 months. And we had 25 students, then only 10 people passed. So then I was the lucky one to pass the helicopter mechanic.
And those were like on the H-19s and the little big beaters and...
Yeah, Bell H-13.
H-13s, yeah.
And then I worked on airplane L-7, L-5, and L-17. Liaison airplanes.
You need to adjust your mic. You're coming in muffled. Slow down.
You did shut off the recording. How about now? Okay. Now try not to lean too far forward for it to pop out.
Okay, 5 count. 4, 3, 2.
So you did training on L5s and L17 liaison planes too, so they were cross-utilizing you even before you got out of tech school.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be kind of confusing when you go through helicopter maintenance and all of a sudden they have you working on single-engine aircraft.
Well, I took, when I went to high school in Palo Alto, California, I took up aircraft mechanic. So then I figured I can maybe work at San Francisco Airport.
Oh, so you'd done some training before you even got drafted.
Right.
Oh. And I imagine once they found that out and when you were in the Army, they were going to try to take advantage of it no matter what you did.
Right. Yeah, right.
So after you went through that training, you were planning on going to Korea, or did they just tell you you were going to Korea?
Well, they said, we want one person to go to Far East Command. So I said, where to? It says, well, either Japan or Korea. So I only had that was in January 1951. So I said, well, my enlistment is over in December. So I said, well, I'll take a chance. So I volunteered to go. They said, you're going to Korea. So my brother's in Japan, so maybe I can see him. So they sent me to Korea, and I stayed there from May to October and came home.
Now, did they fly you out there, or did they send you by plane?
Oh, by boat.
By boat.
And I was sick every day on ship.
Well, it was a good thing you didn't join the Navy.
Yeah.
And when you got there, where did they assign you at?
In Korea, it's called Ascom City. It's called 33.
Which is later on turned into Incheon Airport.
Wow.
Took a few years, but they did it.
Wow.
And so you worked on helicopters there and liaison aircraft? Was that?
Helicopters, mainly. And I said to I told the sergeant, says, we have to have a test stand for the helicopter, because I don't want the helicopter flying over enemy lines and get shot down, or I have engine failure. So, okay, we'll make a test stand. So twice it failed, the helicopter failed. So I said, well, I'm glad they have a test stand.
So they would just test it. If they didn't have a test stand, they would just put it in the air. They wouldn't just fly it over the DMZ, would they?
Yeah, they would. And they'd probably get shot down or get crashed or something.
A little damaged.
Yeah.
So what were the conditions like when you were over in Incheon?
Well, it was good weather, and people said, how come you got R&R and you only been here 5 months, and this guy here I've been here 19 months and no R&R, how come you get to go? Well, I asked company commander, he says, I want to see my brother in Japan and whereabouts Tokyo. He's working for General MacArthur. And he says, okay, approved. So I went to R&R.
Now, you're of Japanese descent. Did you meet any trouble with the Koreans when you were there?
Nope, they were pretty friendly. And one time the Korean says, oh, are you going on R&R? Says, when? I'm going there in October. Oh, can you buy me penicillin and material and this and that? So I went to Tokyo, and I spent half a day trying to find this stuff for the Korean person. So I said, I gave up. I don't want to spend my time. So when I got back, Says, where's my penicillin? Where's my material? So I didn't buy anything. So he said, well, can you come over my place to eat dinner? You and Niyama will come my place to eat dinner. So okay. So went to the Korean place to eat dinner, and Niyama didn't get sick, but I got sicker than a dog. Maybe the guy poisoned me, I don't know, but I had to go off to the sick bay. He said, take these 5 pills, but do not chew them up. I can't swallow pills, so I chewed it up. Next day, he said, doctor opened my mouth and he said, oh, you chewed them up, didn't you? I said, yes, sir. Here's 5 more pills. You swallow them, don't chew them up. Yes, sir. And so I had to swallow these pills, took a bunch of water, and it wouldn't go down because I had a phobia of taking pills.
Really?
Because when I was about 10 years old, I had a watch gear, and I spun a watch gear on the table and put it in my mouth, and it got stuck in my throat. So my mother came by, hit me in the back, and it popped out. From then on, I couldn't swallow any pills. Then on every Sunday in Korea, we have quinine pills, size of a nickel, and they had a bitter taste, and so I chewed up, and it was pretty bitter.
Well, I served my own, when I was serving in the Air Force, I served my own time in Korea, so I'm kind of curious what he tried to feed you, but you probably don't remember what the dish was. Or
no, because this one guy, he's a colonel in our company. He got invited to a Korean place, and in a dark room, he says, oh, what are these black spots in my soup? He said, well, those are flies falling down in your soup. I said, well, I don't want the soup anymore.
You didn't want that kind of protein in your meal.
No.
So your time in Korea, you all you did was service helicopters, nothing else.
Nothing else. Plus guard duty.
And I would imagine back then that was kind of a serious thing to do.
Oh yeah, because I was on guard duty and I was on the tower, and I fell asleep up there. And OD came by and says, "Soldier." "Yes, sir." "Yamamoto. How's everything?" "Oh, everything's fine, sir." And then he would have caught me sleeping. I would have been in jail for 20 years.
We're in serious trouble in the first place.
Yeah.
So you only served that many months in Korea. So what happened after you left the country?
Well, after I got out, I went to, that was 1952, so I didn't know what to do. So I think I'll go to school. So I went down to Los Angeles and went to this national school and learned automotive. And it cost me $50 a month and $30 a month for room and board. I only got paid $110 a month from the government. So then I worked in the gas station to subsidize my living expenses.
So you were kind of like on a GI Bill,
right,
after Korea.
Yeah. So then, well, first I got out, I became a carpenter. So you had to pound 16 nails. It took you three strokes to hit that 16 penny nails into the wood. And after one day, I was tired because I never had using that big old hammer and pounding 16 penny nails in the wood.
Well, to me, that's kind of amazing. You went from an aircraft mechanic.
Well, jobs are hard to find after the war. And so I went to school, and then I quit that national school and I went to LA Trade Tech to learn machinist. Then when I was going to school, United Airlines said, "Oh, we got a job for you." And I said, "Well, I'm going to school right now." And I was kind of scared because if something fails, the plane crashes, they look at the logbook and say, oh, who did this, who did that? Oh, Bill Yamamoto, wow. So I said, I don't want that job.
So you end up staying in the automotive career field instead of getting back in aircraft maintenance.
Yeah. So then after that, I worked for subcontracting for Boeing, 707, 727, KC-135, and I was cleared for secret to work on missiles. So I stayed there for about until 59 to 63. Then I worked for Ralph M. Parsons Company, and they says, Bill, we're going to send you to Cape Canaveral and work on the missiles down there. He says, well, I can't go because my wife can't drive a car, and she'd be lost without a car. So I didn't go. I wish I could have, but then from 63 to 66, I worked for Parsons Company, and then from then I went to the Metropolitan Water District and worked there 28 years as a liaison man to monitor 16 dams. And I could go to near Lake Havasu. The dam is about 200 feet high. I have to climb the ladder 200 feet up there and come down, and they have to drive 6 hours going home back home, and I was tired.
Well, what I find amazing is you know, you tried to join the military to become an aircraft mechanic. You made it. And then when you got out, it just didn't work out that way.
No, because you hear that a lot of planes crashed, and they always check the logbook.
So now, when you were working for Boeing, you said the 707 program, so were you part of the assembly process, or were you doing maintenance on them?
We made the spare parts catalog for 707, 727. So if you want to order a part, look in this catalog and look at the serial number, then you can find the part in the catalog.
Oh, okay.
And the draftsman will write. He does everything by hand. I mean, he isometrically draws this part, and you can explode the view, and you can tell what the part number of the screw or the whatever you.
Right, in the technical orders where they put the part numbers in the assembly instructions.
Right.
Interesting. Did you regret joining the military?
No, the only thing I didn't like was have to get up 4:30 in the morning, and after the day before I got up at 7:30, and next day it was 4:30. So wow, that's a pretty big difference.
So they had you working about an average 10-hour day.
Yeah. Plus, when I was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, this Mitchell, my crew chief, says, Bill, you want to be a waiter? I says, okay, 90 cents an hour. So for the four of us worked as a waiter, and then I made the most money, so I have to put the money in the kitty because you make too much money. He says, well, you got the same amount of tables I have, and if I give good service, they give me better tips. So then after that, I became a bartender. I said, I don't know anything about bartending, Mitchell. Well, I'll teach you. Okay, so he taught me how to be a bartender. Then I go to the service club and work as be a bartender. I work from 6 o'clock to 1 or 2 o'clock at night, and then I get up at 6 o'clock. And
the money was good, but it was hard on your body, wasn't it?
yeah,
Now, this was in the service club. This wasn't the officers club.
the officers club.
Oh, the officers club. I get it. I guess that's one way to get money out of them. So you said you had a wife. Did you have any children?
2.
And what were their names?
Ruth and Susan. And Ruth Susan she went to Santa Cruz College and became a teacher. And Susan, she went to Los Angeles City School College. And then Ruth, she married this professor at Santa Barbara, California. So he travels all over the United States and trying to recruit people and learn sign languages so he can teach the students sign language and all that stuff. He was a math professor.
It's interesting. Any grandchildren out of this deal?
No grandchildren. All they want to do is travel, and they want no children.
That's always sad. I mean, I can't claim the same. I tried, but no children. So now, looking back in your life, were you glad you were in the military at any time? Did it teach you anything?
Oh yeah, it teach me discipline. And nowadays, the kids don't have any discipline nowadays. They grow up and take drugs, marijuana, smoke, and drink, and it's pretty sad.
And then gimme, but don't do anything for it.
Right.
It's funny how that works out, but of course not all of them. There's a few that actually do some work for it. So let's see. You were in the Army in Korea. I find it interesting that you were only there for 5 months. Most people were there for at least a year.
In Korea? Well, I did my duty in Oklahoma, Fort Sill, Oklahoma for about 18 months, I guess.
So you covered your 2 years pretty much in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm beginning to understand the process here. Do you ever desire to go back to see what it was like now compared to when you were there?
In Korea?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see what it looked like. I could have gone, but they said no more trips, free trips, so I didn't go.
Yeah. Well, it would cost some money to go there. I mean,
right.
I can tell you from experience that it's changed quite a bit from when you were there, but country's a country, you know, it's
right.
The basic customs are still there, but the buildings have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not so much sure how much more we can continue with this, but you're saying, you know, you want to see kids have discipline and all that. Do you think joining the military would be valuable for anybody who wanted to?
Yeah, I think it's good, but I don't know why we fight in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq, and to me it's a waste of lives.
Well, you know.
Why don't the other countries do this? We had this, what do you call that thing? We had a whole bunch of people in a round table in the United Nations.
United Nations.
Why don't they get those people and fight?
Of course, you know, when you were in Korea, you were fighting under United Nations command too.
Right.
And I know when I was there, we had a base flagpole that had the American flag, the Korean flag, and the United Nations flag.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know. Half the people on base didn't even know that was happening. You know, they never went by that building. They just knew they were being sent there, and yes, sir, and that's all you did. But it's still that way, United Nations today. Are we done? Oh. Did we cut the show off? You guys are killing me. All right, well, here's a question that was proposed to me. When you were in the internment camp, back when you were a kid, did that change your outlook on patriotism for the country?
No. Because when we were in camp, people that are 18 years old, they want to join the Army, and a lot of my friends joined the 442nd. So they went to Italy and European campaign, and they got back. Like my other buddy, he says he was in the 442nd, and he got hit 3 different times. And last time he got his arm amputated because his gangrene set in. And he was a very good dancer with one arm, and he amazes me. And
did your parents have any resentment for being put in there, or did they just accept it?
yes, well, they couldn't do much. Just roll with the punches.
Right.
Because, when the war broke out, they should only carry 2 suitcases per person. So we go to San Jose, buy our clothing, stuff like that, and in May we went to San Anita Assembly Center, and the people went there ahead of us. They used to live in stables, which is they stunk, and they used hay for a mattress. So every week they have to change the mattress, put new hay in, and that's their bedding. So in November we just got sent to Heart Mountain, Wyoming, and there's 10 camps. They said, which one are they going to send us? So we sent all the San Jose, California people to Heart Mountain. And I didn't have a jacket. I only had tennis shoes and moccasins. So I'd be going to school in the snow in my tennis shoes and change into my moccasins because I want to have dry feet when I went into class.
And, I can't imagine that. I grew up in Eastern Oregon and never really had to go through anything like that. But I mean, you still wanted to join the Navy after you got out of high school, even after going through that experience. But, really, the government didn't really apologize for that until Reagan did it in 1983.
Right.
But I find that kind of incredible. But
see, in 1986 or 7, I guess, Reagan didn't want to sign that bill for us. Each person gets $20,000. So what happened? 1988. My late wife passed away, and she didn't get anything. Well, if she died, then you don't get $20,000. So then I figured, after my late wife passed away, I remarried in 1992. Married a Caucasian woman.
Well, you married the woman you love. Now, not to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah, I met her at the dance class. So I said, would you like to go out for a cup of coffee? She says, okay. It shocked me because I figured, no, I'm tired and this and that, and I got a child and 10-year-old child. Well, that's okay. I thought, that's all right. So 5 years later, we got married.
And you're married today?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
So you ended up with 3 children, not just 2.
She had 4, and I have 2.
Okay.
And
okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm not very good at this at all. But hey, I'm really happy that you decided to talk to us. I mean, I just find it so incredible that you went through all that training in the Army. You had a desire to become an aircraft mechanic, and you just made it work for yourself by becoming an auto mechanic instead. And then you moved into parts for aircraft and missiles and.
I got a secret clearance. The FBI had to check on me to get a secret clearance because I worked on missiles.
Right. And you didn't really did you get exposed to any secret material, or did they just give you the clearance and said that's what you had to use to work?
All the drawings were secret.
Oh, that's right. Especially back then when they were developing them.
Yeah.
But, so you develop part catalogs for the missiles too.
Right.
So I don't have very much experience with missiles myself. I mean, I was in the Air Force, but I worked with the maintainers, but that was for the people who maintain the aircraft, not the missiles themselves. And the ammo guys, we just never got along with them. They always treat us like, if you didn't know, you didn't work in the stuff, you weren't too important. But well, anyway, I really appreciate you talking with us today.
Yeah, likewise.
And thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
And it's been really a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Frank.
And that ends our interview with Bill Yamamoto of Gresham, Oregon today. And it's 29th of April, 2016 for the Veterans History Project. And we bid you a good day.